How's it going, everyone? Welcome again to this week's InvArch Weekly Wednesday Update. I hope everyone's doing well. We've had a really exciting week. We got a really exciting week ahead. We got a lot going on and a lot of good information news to bring you all. So, as always, I'm going to go ahead and dive right in, and we're going to be getting right to the tech of things. So, as everyone knows, coming up August 8th, according to Block Time, the Tinkernet parachain will be onboarded, and deployed to the Kusama relay. So, what does this mean? What's the big deal? What is Tinkernet? So, Tinkernet joining Kusama, for one, will realize the InvArch protocol. The InvArch protocol is the most, in partnership, in tandem with the Remark NFT standard, it is the most composable NFT standard in Web3 today. But I'm quite sure, I'm very confident that there ever will be. And the reason for this, why is it so composable today, but why will it always be as composable? Why will it always be the leading edge composability standard for NFT assets? And it comes down to the way that everything is designed. It is unlimited, unmatched composability. What does that mean? Composability is the ability to basically imagine files and folders, the ability for them to operate with one another, to interact, to be compatible, to do things such as have NFTs that are multi-resource. So you have an NFT that also consists of other NFTs which are attached to it. You can even have other NFTs which could be attached to those NFTs, and so on and so forth. Currently, in Web3 today, most NFTs are typically just known as these one instances of usually JPEGs, PNG, so profile pictures that we see. There are instances for music, but with Remark, with this powerful standard, you can have a profile picture with changing backgrounds that plays your favorite song. You can have, and it can even change. You can change the songs. You can change what your avatar is wearing. It can do basically anything that you want. You can go ahead, upload a video to the background, and even more so, you can have actual albums of music that are all linked together, and not just collections, but you can move these things about, and they're able to move from one primitive to another. And with this, it's really powerful because, again, with the InvArch protocol, which includes IP sets. So IP sets is really what brings all of this full circle and is what allows for a true tree-like structure for NFT assets. With this, what you have is, again, you can have a resource or files and folders just like on your computer, and you can have a folder with multiple files and various other folders, which inside those folders have files and various other folders, and so on and so forth, which could hypothetically be endless. Now, imagine that same concept, but it's with NFTs. You have a collection, a set of NFTs, and inside of that set, there are individual NFTs, there are collections of NFTs, there are like subsets that you can go into, like a folder that consists of other collections and individual instances of NFTs. What's the significance of this? Why does this matter? Because with this, I mean, what we're doing is emulating the ability for essentially not just all types of files, all types of digital assets to exist as NFTs. That's one thing. That's NFT 1.0. That's already today. The power of this is to realize what gives files and things power in the world of composability, and that is like on GitHub with code, with programs. It is a series of files and folders that are all connected in some way, some various shape or form that usually call or depend on one another, and together, as a result of all this, they're in a repository that achieves something truly fantastic, truly great, like software and applications and amazing solutions that people can use. With this technology, all of those amazing solutions can exist as NFT assets. With the InvArch protocol, with Remark, and especially with InvArch Git, this is more so than just a new level of composability. As I said, this is the end-all be-all. And again, why do I say that? Because the most composable, the bottom baseline for composability in the world of Web 2 is the Git protocol for file management and version control. And that is, again, it's follows the same structure allows for the same structure as how you can organize files and folders on your computer. If you go to github.com, if you go look at a repository, it is one main collection of files and folders. It's the same thing. Now we have on-chain repositories as NFT assets, which are holding inside of them other NFT assets. You can have these on-chain repositories be connected to IP tokens for distributed, not just refungible ownership, not just you having a piece, but multi-layer fungible classes for tokens. So you can have one class of tokens connected to the repository, which gives certain developers, access rights to work on the repository or to be part of an organization or a DAO. You can have other tokens which actually seek to fulfill a utility purpose that is achieved through what is being built through that software, through that application, that dApp. You can have tokens that are equipped in order to provide a form of experience tracking for contributors in that repository, which can then be leveled up to unlock additional bonuses, rewards. You can kind of go nuts. If you haven't already learned about InvArch, about Remark, about InvArch Git, definitely head over to invarch.medium.com. Check out the InvArch Edu series. Been publishing since mid-March, rolling out a lot of the big innovations that InvArch and that the Tinkernet brings to Web3. Among those, again, we have IP sets, unmatched composability. We have pegged IP tokens. We have on-chain IP licenses and a framework for this, because this is really, really important. Owning an NFT is not owning the rights to an NFT. And it is very important, especially as builders, building protocols for which NFTs, these primitives, are going to be stored on. It is very important that we build with this in mind and we understand this, because otherwise it's a negligence towards the users of our platforms. Because if they are misguided in the utility of what they really have, then that's how people end up in legal situations and messes and the confusing bureaucratic systems that we're trying to escape from using Web3. Why do I stress that? Because with InvArch, with IP licenses, with everything on chain, and because it's this very flexible framework, it is able to be both internationally and domain-specific compliant. It's able to accommodate the compliancy needs, the legal needs, no matter between which two entities or multiple entities agreements are taking place, their regions, their locations, and it's designed with other protocols in mind, such as DID solutions to bridge IP attribution. The point I'm getting at is really full circle, and we're really proud of it. But more importantly, I say more than all of that, is we've built it. It's done. It already exists. And in less than 2 weeks, it's going to exist on Kusama, and it's going to be existing on the Tinkernet parachain. And the Tinkernet parachain is going to be the first parachain in all of Polkadot to showcase the palette implementation of Remark NFTs. So Remark NFTs for Substrate. We're pumped. We're excited. And this will be, in fact, the most advanced, leading edge, bleeding edge NFT solution primitive network in all of .sama, if not all of Web3. I would say Web3. I don't technically know that for a fact, but possibly. We are very, very happy with what we've built. We're very, very proud. We know how powerful this can be, and we're so excited for people to further unlock this. Again, with InvArch Git, on-chain repositories, I just get excited about that. I'm going to be honest. It's really, really cool. Decentralized Git hosting, version control, bridging the gap for the Git protocol to Substrate chains, being able to pull, clone, push changes to the chain for your assets, for your NFT repositories, all using the command line interface, bridging that gap for developers, seamless experience that a lot of individuals are already used to for developing in Web 2. I mean, yeah, we got a good thing going. We're really happy. But again, less than 2 weeks, it's going to be live. We're going to be getting things going. We're going to be bringing this to everyone to use. And we're really excited to be showcasing more of this, because we're really just getting started. Moving on from that, also, approximately 2 months after the deployment of the Tinkernet parachain, we're going to have OSIF go live. So on-chain innovation funding, as many of you know, we have been, talking about this since a little bit prior, actually, since the white paper. But with OSIF and on-chain innovation funding, if you recall the last InvArch EduSeries article, we take a deep dive into that. We're going to be realizing this on Tinkernet, so individuals are going to, and again, shout out to Aster Network for their work where they invented DApp staking for smart contracts. Inspired by that, we have realized IP staking. So this is NFT asset or NFT primitive staking, which realizes a model for decentralized crowdfunding through the staking protocol towards the funding, the kickstarting for IP initiatives for projects to first get going. It is again inspired by DApp staking, but it's really cool because DApp staking is essential for providing incentives for the next era, the next wave of developers who will be decentralized DApp developers building the new internet. That is essential. InvArch though, because the world is full of so many other things apart from just apps and things like that. There's so many other initiatives. Anything from getting, if you're trying to go ahead and heck, it could even be something like trying to raise up school funds or something like that. But even in the real world, towards IP assets, gaining funds towards your project, towards your initiatives, gaining money in order to get things going, no matter what it is you're trying to get kick-started. If you have a DAO that you're trying to get off the ground, here's your shot. If you have an NFT project that you want to get moving, here's your way. If you're looking for a way to get on-chain donations at no cost, boom, there you go. You want to get rewards and get community feedback, use the community as a social filter for your IP. It's natively built into the protocol, and screw it. You want to go ahead, you want a mechanism because you do want to establish decentralization over your token or token class that is pegged to your IP asset. You can do that using IP staking in return for token rewards. You get funding and you have a distribution mechanism. And again, it's all on chain. It's all ready to go. And OSIF ready to go in 2 months, and everything all built to superpower InvArch and InvArch assets. So like I was talking about earlier with those on-chain Git repositories, for you developers out there, imagine connecting your repository to on-chain funding opportunities seamlessly. Imagine having that baked in. Imagine one day having incentivized and protected open source development. Just some things that we get excited about. With all of that again, so we have a lot going on. If you have been on our Twitter recently, then you might have noticed a little branding change. With that, it is a kind of foreshadowing some future changes that we have coming to the InvArch Network website. With that, we are excited. Like I said, last week we have our builders program, the InvArch Texas Assemble program, which is getting ready to go. We want to get all the information up on the website, get everything really nice and proper for everyone to do things correctly. But we are really excited. There's a new theme, new style with everything that shout out to Yourself is really, really amazing. But again, getting all of this new information, everything that we have going on with the project, getting the site cleaned up, making it more user-friendly, accessible, and contentful for developers that will inevitably be checking out the website, checking out the builders program. So keep an eye out. We're excited. Things are looking really, really good. And by the end of the week, or the middle of next week, 1 week from now, all of those things should be wrapped up. So again, we're really excited for that. Whew, got a lot of stuff going on. Before I diverge away from the tech talk, though, I do want to, one last thing, just let everyone know the final Tinker allocations have gone ahead. They have been calculated. So this is in tandem with the base reward of the 87.75 Tinker per KSM. Plus, we had 468,000 bonus Tinker that was unlocked. And this bonus Tinker is being distributed amongst individuals who contributed between the very start of the crowd loan and up until the 8,000th KSM. Those individuals had achieved thresholds, which then unlocked weight for them. There is a weight pool, so the amount of weight you have determines your share of that pool, which determines one's share of the inducement bonus. So we have all of that calculated. If it's not made available later today in an article, then it definitely will be available tomorrow, so everyone can anticipate that. We're excited to share this. More importantly, as I mentioned last week, we will be having a new member join our team. His name is Pedro. Phenomenal individual. Really excited for him to be coming along, joining us as our lead front-end designer. Killer UI and UX experience coming from blockchain.com. experience with Uniswap, and shout out to our guys over at Talisman, the amazing people at Talisman Wallet, for sending him our way. We're really excited, and with his help, we're going to be realizing a nice little UI, nice interface for individuals, community to go ahead and connect their wallets, check their crowd loan rewards and everything. And we're moving along with that. We are looking towards allocations occurring next month in August, towards distribution happening next month. So yeah, just keep your eyes on Tinkernet Twitter account. That's where the majority of those posts, those updates will be shared. And yeah, as we have, again, as things are already made available, we'll go ahead, we'll share that, let everyone know. The rewards are coming. You guys are going to be really excited. I'm really happy for how things turned out. I'm not going to lie. Moon River, I don't know. It's not about value. It really is like the utility that we're launching with it's steroids. It's really steroids. But I will say, we did intentionally design this to be a rewarding experience, an energizing experience for the community, and I am very confident that will end up being the end result. With all that out of the way, all the tokens, everything with Tinkernet, the amazing tech that we have built, realized, and getting ready to deploy here in less than 2 weeks for all of .sama. If you like what you've heard, if you want to be a part of this amazing journey of hours of InvArch, and if you want to help in realizing the IP meta protocol for all of Web3, focusing on digital rights management, establishing this network that isn't, it's built absolutely with the current framework in mind. It's built to accommodate, to integrate, to enhance, and honestly, it is built to one day replace the system, because the system that we have today is archaic. It stifles innovation. The reason that InvArch, apart from as a natural byproduct of its composability that makes it possible, the reason for these accommodations is because that is reality. That is the wise way to go. But I want to say this first and foremost, that the InvArch network is designed at the lowest level, the most powerful level possible, to provide a foundational change, a new framework for NFT, for IP primitives, for these new assets, for IP in Web3, a new global IP system. Why? Because the current one is failing the people it's supposed to protect, and the innovation is supposed to propel. And more simply put, because we can. That's why. Because it is possible. Because it is, with Web3 technology, it is possible to produce a trustless system with no single points of failure, with no human direct notarization involvement, no single closed door decision disputes, no centralized authorities acting as gatekeepers, and we even figured out how to prevent patent trolls from existing on the network as well. We can build all of these things so easily. We can attribute IP ownership. Mind you, the fast track, okay, in the US to get registered, the fast track is a year. We're talking 6 to 12 seconds, 12 seconds? 12 seconds compared to a year. Time-wise, that is a huge difference. A year of slowing down, of stalling innovation, 12 seconds. Let's get things going, because the backlog of problems facing humanity is getting a bit vast. And the rate that we need to be able to problem solve, to collaborate and get solutions produced for these things, we need more tooling. We need better resources as individuals, and we need the ability to do these things faster. The same way that DID solutions, the strain of and burden of always constantly relying on the government or a third-party entity to verify your identity, the timing of that, the load that's put on them, it doesn't need to exist because we have DID solutions. The same thing with IP and these centralized systems with ownership. They don't need to exist. IP ownership can be done using blockchain technology. It can be attributed. It can be, for one, it's immutable records of ownership that can be attributed to real IDs. These files, using logic, using math, using cryptographic functions and hashing mechanisms, using all of these things, you can provide a system that doesn't just give you you're not going to pay $15,000 for a record that says this is yours. You're going to pay inflation, all those things, approximately around this current day and age value, $1 compared to $15,000. And you're going to get IP attribution protection in approximately 12 seconds compared to a whole year. More so, You can pay the $15,000 on average. Some people pay $50,000. Okay, you can pay the $15,000, and if you make a change, guess who's paying $15,000 more dollars? That's ridiculous. That's I don't know about all of y'all, but I grew up extraordinarily poor. It's not a reality. It literally suffocates people at the bottom from achieving protection. This redefines everything. It redefines the whole system because it can, because it needs to be, and because with cross-chain authentication, our XCA protocol, which realizes, I think this is a really big deal, but plagiarism impossible NFTs, that's actual proactive protection. And using technologies, using other protocols such as shout out to Oak Network, on-chain automation. I mean, the ability to have a trustless system, a transparent system that truly is run by sound logic versus opinion, a system that works. I don't even know. I don't even know what 12 seconds divided by out of 365 days worth of seconds is, but I imagine it is ridiculous. And that is what we cut down. You know, this new system that we're building, I just want to say I am very excited. I'm very passionate more than ever to bring this to Web3. The whole team, we are all very determined because, again, it is needed. And we feel a responsibility to realize this. It can exist. And because it can exist, it will exist. And we will build it. And it will be built to accommodate the system today. But from its core and from the ground up is being built for the future, not tomorrow, not a year. This is being built for the next 200 years. This is being built to provide a better framework that simply the new system cannot keep up with. And that's how it's going to replace it. It's going to provide better ownership attribution, more affordability, lower barriers to entry, faster processes, actual proactive protection, and it's literally everything that people pay thousands of dollars to not receive. That's the difference that we're making. And with this, last thing, again, with XTA, with cross-chain authentication, plagiarism, and possible NFTs, it's not just buzzwords. That is extraordinarily and powerful. Because one thing that IP, ironically, also does in today's world is it acts like a gatekeeper for some. That's not good. We don't want that. We also don't want people to feel like they need to lock up and harbor their IP and then prevent other people from having access and innovating further. What we want, what we ought to strive for, and what we will realize is a system of incentivized open source development and protection of assets where it is more incentivizing for someone to have an open source IP that other individuals can build on top of to streamline ownership, streamline royalties, streamline really everything. It'll be more profitable, more incentivizing for someone to open source to have their IP available to build on than it would be for someone to go ahead and pay money to shut it down. And again, I think that is going to be a massive difference that is going to help to propel innovation further. And with that, I'll see you next week. See ya.